shine a light in their eyes. It's gonna stop them, and then we can turn it on strobe, and oh my god, and they're not gonna know where I'm at because the light's in their eyes. All right, so I get a lot of questions about using light or a light as a weapon. I've talked before about using large flashlights as an emergency self-defense tool for people who have no other options. I'll put a link to that up there when we're done streaming when I get back to a desktop, right? We've talked about that before. I get a lot of questions from people about, should I carry a flashlight as a defensive weapon? You can use a flashlight as a defensive weapon about as well as you can a Kubotan if it's of about the same size. You can push into somebody with the head of the flashlight or the tail of the flashlight. And if you need a point with which to push in, you can normally use the little guards that they have on the back of these things. You see here, there's like a guard for the button, and that's pretty easy to be able to push down on someone with that, right? If you're going to use a pressure point, put it up under their neck or the small of their back or something like that, right? So I'm only using the A-Tactical A1 because it's what I happen to have on me, and this thing is relatively pretty normal for a flashlight people talk about with this. Now, where I digress from whether it's a good idea to use a flashlight as a weapon from many people who just listen to everything that a flashlight company will tell them that's trying to sell them something, is when they talk about strike bezels, right? That a strike bezel, especially a deep strike bezel, or some people call them a DNA collector, is somehow going to make this a better tool with which to defend yourself. This is only going to get as much force and momentum and vector and what have you as the weight of the light and how much you can smash, right? So adding a crenellated bezel or using the back end of it to smash into somebody, it's going to concentrate the force, but if you're talking about hitting someone in the head or the leg or something with it, concentrating that force isn't really going to do a whole lot more than just hitting them with the bezel of the light, because you're very unlikely to hit someone dead on with the bezel of the light. It's most likely going to be at an angle, and that's concentrating that force anyway. What crenellated bezels do when you get the big sharp teeth on the front of it, what that does is it causes unintended, or maybe they are intended by some people who are doing this, but potentially they're going to cut into the skin of the person, right? So if you're cutting into the skin of the person because you hit them either in the head or in a pressure point or something with the light, you're going to cause more damage than is necessary to defend yourself. And remember, in most places, I can't speak for everywhere, but in most cases and in most places, the law says you have to use the least amount of reasonable force, right? So is it reasonable to buy something that is to use as a defensive weapon that is purposefully going to create unnecessary injury to the person by putting sharp ends on the edge of what is basically a small bludgeon? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't give you anything for the extra liability that you get. I'm right with taking on extra liability if I get something for it, right? Now, as far as light, using actual light as a weapon, I hear about strobe all the time. Strobe wasn't even a thing until LEDs came out. It wasn't that long ago, and I've never seen it be really effective at all. 100% honest with you. I've never seen it be effective as a tool at all, but especially as a weapon. The idea that you're going to shine this in somebody's eyes and you're going to flash light at them, and flashing that light at them is going to disorient them to the point where they can't attack you. You could disorient someone with that if they didn't have some ill intent against you, if they hadn't already decided that they're going to attack you, and you shine it at them and then beat feet the other way. It might buy you a second, but that's all it's going to do. It's not a weapon, right? It's a tool. For instance, if it makes as much sense to rely on that as a weapon as it does like a flashbang, right? If it was legal where you were at, if you could, would you carry a flashbang as a defensive weapon, right? You'd be like, well, if somebody attacks me, I'm going to pull the pin on this and I'm going to drop it and I'm going to run, right? Because that's about what you're talking about, except flashbangs are way more effective. But they have all the same downsides that just shining a flashlight in someone's eyes have, right? The light goes both ways. You're ruining their night vision pretty badly. Yours isn't going to be great afterward, too. So if your idea is I'm going to hit them in the eyes and then I'm going to run into the woods or through the dark parking lot or whatever, their vision might be a little worse off than yours, but it's not going to be so bad that they're going to be like, on the ground like when pepper spray was new, and they'd show a picture of like a cop on the ground and spraying the guy with pepper spray, and he was and recoiling back. That's not real life, and it's the same way with flashlights. If this is all you can have, it does certain things, but it's important to have realistic understanding of what they do. The other thing is people talking about like really, really high lumens and be able to hit them in the eyes and blind the person, and they're going to get more of it than you will, and using that as a weapon. It's a tool, right? It's a tool to accomplish a task, just like the flashbang, right? If you're hitting a house and you toss the flashbang in, it disorients the people in the room, but it doesn't disorient them for like 25 seconds. You're talking 3 or 4 seconds before they figure out what's going on when you come in the door, right? Well, if you do the same thing with a flashlight to somebody on the street, you hit them in the eyes with the flashlight, right? And they go, oh, and they put their hands up in that defensive posture. That might buy you a couple seconds, but it's not going to buy you minutes. It's not going to be a fight ender, none of that. This has to be a part of your overall toolbox that you're bringing to the altercation. It has to be a part of your defensive plan. It's a good part as a good tool for a specific purpose, but too many people out there are telling folks that you can use this to defend yourself, that this is a weapon that you could hit them in the eyes and then punch them on the head, and that's gonna be a fight under. And it's not the reality. It's not reality at all. And the strobe thing, the like hitting strobe, people freak out. Well, why is strobe hidden on this light? I want it to be instantaneous strobe so that I can use it immediately. Well, that's all well and good, except that like what is it gonna do, right? I found strobe to be less effective than just boatloads of light. If I had my option, if I was going to design my own flashlight, right? Free ideas to flashlight companies. Okay, free ideas. Feel free to steal this, make this light. Please just send me one for free when you make it, right? Make a light, cradle charging, right? So I don't have to unscrew stuff and take batteries in and out and all that crap. And then make it so that there's 2 buttons on the back. I like the 2 buttons on the back idea. If you're going to make it in this form factor, this would be great, right? 2 buttons on the back. Instead of having 1 button that you push where you get whatever setting you've left it on, and then another button that you push that you get strobe, give me 2 buttons. 1 button that I push that I get about 350 lumens for the normal, everyday BS tasks that I'm doing all the time, checking the outside of a building and looking under a car seat, looking inside, underneath beds and stuff where I don't need half a gazillion lumens, right? And then give me the other button, instead of that strobe stuff, give me one that is just, it's like, oh my God, is that the sun, right? As many lumens as you can pack into it, and all throw, right? So 1 utility, 350, 400, somewhere in there, and then another button, boom, lots of throw, and just boatloads and boatloads and boatloads of light. And then you could put like a UI switch with all your other goofy stuff that no one ever, like moonlight mode and stuff that nobody ever uses on it. But that would be a real police duty light, a real tactical light that would have real applications in the real world. The crenulated bezel, I'd rather not have them. All they do is they rip holes and stuff that you put them in, like you put in your pocket, starts ripping holes through your coat if it's in the same spot. You clip it to your pocket, starts ripping holes in your pants. I don't like them at all. I'd rather it just be smooth on the outside. If I really needed that, I could dig with the end cap of most lights. Even when you start getting up into crazy size, like this Thrunite Tn 30 is like 2,800 lumens or something with 3 LEDs on the front, lots and lots of throw. We're going to do this in the future. Even with something like this, you're not talking about enough light where it's going to be a fight ender. So for the foreseeable future, I don't see anything in this form factor getting anywhere close, because this won't do it for you. This won't do it for you. We had spotlights on the cars. I like to spotlight people in the eyes. Buys you a couple seconds when you're getting out of the car, but it's not a fight stopper. It's a tool. It's a tool that accomplishes a purpose. I think that's about everything I had about the flashlights and using light as a weapon. Oh yeah, one more thing. Another use for these that you can use is you hit them in the eyes, and then you disappear and move. You hit them in the eyes, and you disappear and move. That's great. But again, that's not a weapon, that's a tool, right? Blinds them, and you move. And then you're not where they think. It's hard to do in the car, but they're not where you think it is. You can blind them and sidestep, and you can actually blind them and keep the light on their eyes as you sidestep and you're somewhere else. That's all great, but it's not a fight stopper. Just like body armor, just like handcuffs, just like a taser, just like pepper spray, just like everything else, not a fight stopper. It is a tool. So, now that we're done with that, until someone brings up a question, it's time to go super unprofessional. Back to the Santa hat and the coffee. I got a lot of comments about that recently, and that's my take on it, right? Obviously, the more lumens you go up, the longer it's going to work. You know, you're going to buy yourself more and more time, but I haven't found an effect where you're going to get this, like, 25 seconds where you're going to run away. I'm going to blind him and run away, or I'm going to blind him and then pummel the crap out of him. If you blinded me with a light, you be damn sure I'm going to be expecting to fight afterward, right? So I don't like to use any technique or tool on someone else that I don't think would work on me. And people have blinded me with lights before. Blinded myself on accident with lights before. You ever see those people have like a wall? I know it's out of style now, but like a wall of mirror, right? You ever see some people have a wall, like a whole wall in their living room that's mirror? And you come in a house and you got a rifle, because on my rifle I've got like, it's like 800 lumen thrower on the front of it, right? And you come in a house and pop that light on as you come in the door, and pop the light in after you're a meter on and meter off, and you turn it on, and oh, that's not in shoot houses, right? Sometimes real life's a little different than the theoretical world that a lot of people like to live in, especially if they haven't been in the game for a while. Coming up, diplomacy failure. I already put down in the description the guys that make the magazine cover, and they got some other stuff like a flippy around thing where you get a magazine and you connect two magazines together and you can flip them around. And they make some targets and some other stuff on their website. There's a 20% off discount code that they're giving to everybody who watches law enforcement related channels and stuff. And since I did some stuff on theirs, they sent me the discount code. It's up on Instagram and Facebook. I think I put it up there, but it's down in the description. I think it's Blue Fam. I wrote it in the description for you. In case you're interested in that, it's 20% off through the end of December. I've got the Thrunite Tn 30 coming up. That I actually just shot the video of it last night, and it's a pretty good thrower. Puts out a lot of light. It's actually hard to videotape something that puts out this much light because it blows out the camera, so it's a bit of a pain in the butt. And the Nikkor SR7T, I think it was. I'm going to be doing that. We'll do that one in the future. Josh is supposed to be getting me an O-light to borrow for a while. Unfortunately, I missed the appointment to go meet up with him at his work, and so I couldn't pick that up. But we'll be doing that in the future. And what else? Up on Patreon, I've got Cops Duties at Court, SWAT, the difference between full and part-time, and why there's different types of SWAT teams and sizes of SWAT teams and what they actually do and what their actual purpose is. The trunk bag video I already put out. What was the other one? I got something else I'm putting out like in the next couple of days. I've got the Lynx Defense Rifle Bag is up on Patreon, and the Stat Bleed Control Kit is up on Patreon. I'm going to put one of those out later today. I haven't decided which one. Maybe the Lynx bag. I'm not sure. Haven't decided. You guys can vote. How about that? Because it doesn't really matter to me. Actually, I don't think the thumbnail's not completely done on the Stat Medical Gear Bleed Control Bag, so we'll probably do the Lynx Defense Rifle Bag. People want to see a slightly closer look at stuff, because it's hard to show on video, like, quality of something. So I did lots of close-ups. I did kind of a short video on the bag and then lots of close-ups after. So that should be fun. There's other stuff I was supposed to talk about, but I can't remember. All right. Let's scroll up to the top. Take some comments. Good morning. Hi, Tommy. Hey, how's it going? What is flashlight throw? Adam asks, what is flashlight throw? When I talk about throw, what I talk about is its ability to push out. Lots of flashlights do really good flood, especially cheaper flashlights. See my reviews on lots of Thorfire. Live screen added it out. Thorfire has lots of flashlights that do lots of flood, right? So like, you have a floodlight in your backyard. You turn it on, 55-watt floodlight will light your whole backyard up, but it won't light the neighbor's yard up. It won't, if you point it up at the neighbor's house, it'll be bright over there, but you won't be able to see what's going on at the neighbor's house. Then you take a spotlight on a squad that's also 55 watts, and you point it, you can see stuff, not just at your neighbor's house, but 12 houses down the block, down the street. It throws the light you've got the light source in the middle, and then the reflector points that light out in that direction. And depending on how they make the reflector is whether it floods out in a wide area or if it goes out in a beam of light that throws out at a distance and allows you to see after it hits it, basically. So when I say throw, that's what I mean. Your ability to use the light to see at distance and flood is your ability to see the area directly around you. Hello from Naperville. Hello. Good morning from Tennessee. Hello from Illinois. Hello. Hello from Egypt. Egypt. I don't think we've seen Egypt yet. Hunter Kong says, wouldn't the light give your location? But as a defensive matter, doesn't matter. Like, they already know your location. As a cop, like I'm parking a marked squad car, I'm in full uniform, I'm checking a building or doing whatever I'm doing, they're already know I'm there, otherwise we wouldn't be having this problem. Now for SWAT, you don't turn the damn lights on until they know you're there, right? Until the door starts getting pounded on, flashbangs start going off, then people's individual lights start going on. We can talk about that more later, but light discipline is a big thing for SWAT because you're basically ambushing. Hello, hello. Mike Wilkerson says, I dig the shark teeth on the light. Why? You can see if you happen to have left it on. Boom. Valid reason. I actually like that. When it's sitting on a flat surface, that is. What he says is like, you put the light down like this on a flat surface, it's hard to tell if it's on, if it seals up, whereas if you have the crenellated bezel, it sits a little up and you can see if the light's on. That makes sense. I just wouldn't use it as a weapon. That would be a good argument in court, should you have hit someone with it. You'd be like, no, I didn't get it as a weapon. I got it so that way I can tell if the light's on. I don't want to burn out my batteries. Jose Gomez says, so I was watching an Officer Daniels thing, and him and his co-host talked about law enforcement and dealing with special needs, i.e. autism. What is your take on it? Would you make a video about it? I would love to make a video on that. I think it's a very important topic. Unfortunately, like I've said before, I won't come on and just pontificate about things that I don't know something about, right? I really don't like giving people really bad information. So I'm not going to pontificate about some stuff that I'm not, not an expert, but like I don't know a whole lot about. And I have been actively looking for people who are both cops and who have like children who are special needs, or specifically children who are autistic, who want to come on so that they can talk about it from the perspective of somebody who knows both sides of the spectrum. I can find people who know about autism who want to come on, and I can talk back and forth with them, but I don't think that really helps anybody. I think the perspective that you want is somebody that lives with someone all the time who has autism, and then also knows about the law enforcement side of it and the concerns that they have there. Mike Wilkerson says, XML T6, Daddy like a lot. The battery that came with it and the charger are supreme quality and get the job done for sure. I'm not familiar with it. I'm glad you like it, though. That's the great thing about flashlights is you can always have more. Imagina Studios says, the only use I have for strobe is to be more visible when working accident scenes. That is one thing I liked about the SRT-7. It had like a red and a blue flashing light on it, and that makes sense. Point it out on the ground, people can see, oh, there's somebody standing there. But the strobe is a weapon I don't get. My one use for strobe is as a party light for my daughter. She really likes when I hold my duty light over her head and turn the strobe on, and she can like dance under it. That's it. That's my only use for it. Nick Machad says, what is the purpose of the strobe light if it's not meant for defense? Well, the purpose of it was to sell flashlights. The original one, I think Black Hawk had one that they put out. I forget what the brand was, but you could turn the strobe on. It would actually change the signals on the traffic signals, on the opticons. It worked like an opticon. It was over 480 beats a minute. That was a use. But it's not meant as a defensive weapon at all. And it doesn't work for it. So I don't know why. Well, I know why companies put it on there. Companies put it on there because people on the internet talk about it and they say, well, I don't want this. This one has strobe. It's like people that buy in a car, factory car, and they're like, this one's got a cold air intake. This one's supercharged. And you're like, yeah, but it's like 1.8 liter and it's a big car and it's supercharged. That's not a thing, right? Like the other engine's actually more powerful. And they go, but it's supercharged, or dual exhaust, right? This one's got dual exhaust. It's the same type of thing. It's a marketing thing, right? Very limited effect, but it's a great marketing gimmick. And it is. It's a great, whoever came up with this genius, right? Like they already had the circuitry going in to do it. They already had the UI that had to operate. It's already an LED, so it'll turn on and off really fast. They already have the switching. It's a matter of programming to put strobe on it. It's a great marketing technique, but no one would ever use it. And that's why a lot of lights, the strobe, especially police lights, if they have strobe on them, it's like a hidden feature. You ever notice that, like, you have to, like, triple click to get strobe, or you have to, like, go through a bunch of things to get to strobe? It's a hidden feature because people don't use it. Guys buy them, they use it for, like, they leave it on strobe for, like, a week, and they try using it, and they realize it's a pain in the butt, and they forget about it. Everyone I work has forgotten about it. Adam asked, would I need a CCW permit to carry a stun gun in my pocket? In Illinois, you can't even use it with a CCW permit. They're, like, illegal to carry outside your house. It's weird. So it's going to depend on where you live, which is what Squeaky Salmon said right afterward. Nick Jensen says, first live stream, help from the Danish police. Hello from the Danish police. Hello. Olight M2R does what you're talking about. I'll have to look into that. People have talked about Olight before. I have no experience with them. Randall Lee says, I got 32,000 lumens that would put a hurting on somebody. Momentarily, yeah. He's got this Thrunite. We were playing with it. That he says he can spot people at like 1.5 miles with it. Not exactly a defensive weapon, because it has a shoulder strap. It's like that Thorfire S70S, right? It's got a shoulder strap to carry it around. Which reminds me, I got to do the giveaway for that. I keep forgetting to print out the comments and cut them up and do the giveaway for it. But we're going to do that. I'm on vacation this week, so at some point this week I got a lot of stuff I have to get done. Jafisa 380 says, recommendations for general use flashlights and bright as, oh my god, is that the sun flashlights? That's what I'm here getting. My flashlight is starting to have problems. My Streamlight Stinger LED is starting to have problems with the switch. And so I've been asking for suggestions from people. You're getting a bunch of suggestions in the feed. That's why I'm trying out some Nikkor stuff, some Olight stuff. And I tried out a Surefire light that ended up being the Surefire Lumen. I'm not so big on that one. After having used it. Nice hat. Thank you. Unshelled Pilot says, I find the strobe setting completely useless for everyday use. I'm not trying to start a rave. I just want some light. That's kind of my thing with it, is that for most of my purposes, this is actually too much. This like 600 lumen thing is more than I need. So I'm just burning up battery for no reason, right? I leave it set at the highest setting because of this stuff, right? Like the ability to use it and to be able to shine at a distance. What is that over there? And point it at it. But for utility purposes, like if I'm looking under a seat or something, I turn the thing down if I know I'm going to be using it for a while. Jace M said, what's the weirdest weapon you've ever found in a suspect? All of the stuff where I said hidden weapons jail, like hidden weapons lockup, like the sock full of quarters and batteries and stuff like that. All of that stuff, that's real life stuff. That's stuff that I've actually found on people. I've found people using on other people. Like a sock full of quarters and change and stuff that I've seen. So that's all the weird stuff that I've found. Squeaky Salmon says, I have heard that a degree in criminal justice is not always the best idea when trying to become a cop. I was thinking about becoming a reserve officer with an associate's degree in aircraft maintenance. That's probably going to work. I mean, unless the place that you're going to go apply to requires a degree in criminal justice, it's probably the worst thing you could possibly get. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that's probably the worst thing you get. And just about everything else is better. Well, all they care, most agencies care about is that you put the time in to get a degree when they're looking for somebody with a degree. That's it. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 Blaine. Alejandro says, I'm new here. Me too. We're all new here. Every morning's new. Greetings from Panama. Hello, Lewis. Hello, Tommy. Hello. Morning from Dallas, Texas. Hello from Dyer, Indiana again. I just got out of the gym. Blaine says, hi, new here, I'm Blaine. I really wish we could leave these comments up after the video's over. Flathead85 says, do you carry a TDI K-bar knife? No. I used to have a push knife until work said I couldn't carry it anymore. And that was a long time ago. I had a push knife and carried it on my left-hand side. Because you can't carry that. That's against policy, yada, yada, yada. I was like, but I can carry a J-frame revolver? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, same. Same. TDIs weren't around then. It wasn't even an option. You had push knives. But same. I was like, all right, whatever. I carry a J-frame revolver instead. The TDI is great if you're not going to carry a back gun, right? You're going to have a knife instead. Cool. But it doesn't really work well for utility tasks because you pull it out and you got to like look down and fidget with it to get it back in. I really don't like sheath knives anymore. Now that the one-handed opening pocket clip knives exist. Like, I remember a time before they existed. Now that they do, the sheath knives only really make sense as like a dedicated weapon. So if that's your purpose with it, that's great. I'd rather have a revolver, and it's against policy, so I don't carry it. Imagina Studio says, I have a light holder on my duty belt that is open at the bottom. I do EMS. When I'm working highway at night, the strobe mode so passing traffic can see me and hopefully not run me over at night. Pretty valid use. I like that idea. I would also wear a reflective vest. They made reflective vests. Blower made reflective vests for a while that actually lit up and flashed. Those were genius. I don't think they went over really well, though. They may have had like durability issues of a vest having flashing lights on it, but those were genius. I wish somebody would still make that. Tim Tam says, big fan of your YouTube channel, man. Keep up the great work. I can't live without watching your videos. I usually don't comment, but this time I wanted to. Thank you for stopping by and commenting. Hello from California. Hello. Hello from Manchester, UK. Oh, that's a new one. Ohio. Wait, hold on. Hi, El Paso, Texas. Hi, nice Santa hat. Hello. Hello from the Danish police. Hello, Danish police. Does one get assigned to be a traffic officer? How does one get assigned to be a traffic officer? In most places, write a whole bunch of tickets and annoy the rest of your shift with how much you pull traffic and how many tickets you're writing. And they'll be like, do you just want to go to traffic? That's been my experience. Preacher says most apartments just shoot somebody with special needs because they can't communicate and don't know what the hell's going on. The apartment shoots people? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Nobody's just shooting people. That's terrible. That's a terrible idea. Anyone who tells you that shooting people is fun or that they want to shoot people, they come in two categories, right? Two categories. Sociopaths and people who have never done it before, right? Sociopaths and people who have never done it before. People who have no experience with what this is like. What it's like, what it does to you, the aftermath, all of it, right? And anybody that tells you that there's people out there, that most cops are out looking to shoot somebody, same thing. So you can stick yourself in one of those categories. You don't know what you're talking about, or you're a sociopath. That's it. Nobody goes to work and is like, I really hope I shoot somebody today. That's dumb. That's really, really, really dumb. And anybody that thinks that is either an idiot or a sociopath. And they don't know anything about what they're talking about. Wasp Tool says SWAT does a lot of overt activity as well, where they want to be seen. Sometimes, some places. But for the purposes we're talking about, like, they'll leave the lights off. You're doing a raid, you're not going to turn the lights on until you want them to know you're there. It's the whole idea. Blaine says, you just reminded me I need to pick up white hair dye because I was volunteered to be Santa. Oh, good luck with that. Juliet Whiskey Niner says, strike bezels look bad in courts. I much prefer my 4C mag light or a mini mag as a Kubotan, LED replacements in both. I would tend to agree, right? I don't like the concept of strike bezels, and most agencies don't like the concept of strike bezels, and that's why you're not going to see places buy large stockpiles of flashlights with strike bezels and hand them out to their guys. Preacher, voice to text, sorry. Okay, whatever. I was making a joke, Preacher, about the apartments. That's let's find something that says. Craig Parker says, what are the advantages of 12 gauge versus 10 gauge or 410 gauge for shotguns? You want to go way off topic? I don't see the point of 10 gauge anymore now that you have like the super magnum 12 gauges. I don't see the point because the rounds are so much more expensive and you lose a lot of versatility in the gun. And 410 for shotguns is like for quail and stuff, so it's not really important for me. I don't use them for anything. If we didn't have like super magnums for 12 gauges, I could see it. But again, you're still talking about like turkey hunting. You butchered my name, LOL. Sorry. Jose Gomez says, how about some free field training shirts? Still working on it. I gotta not lose my butt on the patches first. If the patches sell out, we'll order more patches, then we'll work on shirts. But shirts and patches, like this stuff, like this is uncharted territory for me, selling stuff on the internet, right? So slow your roll, okay? I would love to do that. No one would like shirts more than me, but you have to make large orders of this stuff. It's not like I could order 10 of them and mail them out to people, right? Like I could order like 100 of them of anything to get it any type of normal price that I can sell it and not lose my butt on it. So like people got to buy the stuff before I can, expand the line. We're selling some patches, but I still haven't even broken even on it yet. Mike Wilkerson, it would be cool if there was a small switch reversible capacitor that allows us to not have any functions, just on and off. You can program some flashlights like that. Some of the higher end flashlights, like I know Surefire has programmable flashlights that you can program it to go like high beam and low beam and that's it. Or high beam. I don't know if they have a high beam and off and that's it, but a lot of them have, like they'll have programmable settings where you can decide what you want when you initially turn the light on. Tool says a steady beam will obscure your vision more than strobe. That's been my experience too. I don't see any purpose of it. I can't even pronounce your name, but 380 said, I believe in Hamilton, Ontario, that sent mental health specialists with patrol officers expensive, but progress. That sounds really expensive. I don't know anywhere that's going to do that here. That would be great to have mental health professionals that are like out on the road with you to be able to call them to a scene. But then you're either spending a lot of money on a mental health professional or you're sending cops to a bunch of training that they're probably not going to be that great at. Nightcore TM03. Okay, I've been looking a lot at the Nightcore stuff. Mike Wilkerson says, something else about flashlights I purchased probably 10 in the last 3 years. Finding a quality clip that doesn't eventually succumb to my manly yanks, pulls, and jolts from the pants pocket are few and far between. I've given up. Metal clips are the response of pretty much everybody in the industry to whenever they put a polymer clip on something, the first time that polymer clip ever breaks, they say, we need to make it out of metal, which spring steel you will eventually wear out because you're going to pull it beyond where it can spring back from. So you can blame everybody who complained about Spyderco plastic clips for all clips now being metal. Because now if you made it, no matter how good you made the polymer clip, no one would want to buy it. Tyler says, I love my A1 tactical flashlight, $20 on Amazon and brighter than Dad's Surefire HLG1. I've been carrying it around. You can see all the wear on it. It's not like I haven't actually been carrying it. You can see all the points are all worn from me carrying it in my pocket. I really like it. It's worked out well for me. And it's cheap. Starting the Academy. Patrick Scott says, starting the Academy in a couple weeks. Not a gun person. Do you think it is silly to not carry when off duty? I'm sure I will want to carry, just not excited about it right now. You don't have to. Nobody says you have to carry when you're off duty. I mean, most places. The feds you have to carry when you're off duty for, like, a lot of federal agencies. I don't want anybody carrying a gun who isn't comfortable with carrying a gun, because that's more dangerous than not carrying it. If you're not 100% comfortable with it, then don't carry it. I don't believe in like the litmus test for being conservative enough or cop enough or man enough. Right? Like, do what you're comfortable with. Harry Solster says, what's the most common gun you find on criminals? Now would be a toss-up between Ruger and Taurus 9mm handguns. You've seen a lot of Glocks lately, too. A lot fewer of those little BS-22s and high points. High points were a thing for quite a while. And now we're seeing a lot more like Taurus and Ruger semi-autos have like plummeted in price. For a while, it was Kel-Tecs. We had a lot of Kel-Tec P11s. Which was actually nice, because people would take a Kel-Tec P11, they put that big old 30-round Kel-Tec mag in it, or they get the high point, and they put the big old 30-round high point carbine mag, and they don't work real well with those, so that was actually nice, because they only get a few shots off before the thing would jam up. Mike Wilkerson says, I also don't understand the lights that have the zoom, which I like, have scales, but they're so blurry they can't be for anything real. I don't know. I'm not big into zooming flashlights. I've got another zooming flashlight. WowTech sent me like their A3, I think it is, A3S. It's like 1,000 lumen zooming flashlight. I've been playing with it, but zooming flashlights just aren't my thing. Hi from Germany. Where's your world famous thermos cup gone? Oh no, it's right here. See, pre-workout, post-workout. Texas Lone Star State says, what do you think about most tattoo policies and departments? I don't have any tattoos. I'm more interested in beard policies. But I don't have any tattoos, so I don't care, right? Like, people want to fight with me in the comment section about stuff all the time, like religion, politics, and stuff. Like, listen, lots of stuff I just don't care about, right? Like, what's my opinion on abortion? I don't have one, right? Like, I got fixed years ago. I got 2 kids already. I don't have one. I don't care. There's only so many things that you can be, like, really, really excited about in life. And, like, there's lots of guys that are really excited about department tattoo policies. I don't care because I don't have any. And I don't want any, so it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't affect my life. See? The next one. Miss MAGA, Trump 2020. See? There you go. Mike Wilkerson says, are the front-loading knives what you're calling a push knife? No, I'm calling a push knife is a knife that has a handle and the blade comes out between your fingers and it makes like a leaf shape. That's a push knife because you push it in. Juliet Whiskey Niner says, any experience with SAP/blackjacks always seem very effective to me, but most departments frown on them apparently. It's not frowned upon. Some places they're illegal, like here. They're illegal in Illinois, and I wouldn't use them. I got a whole video. It's blackjacks for police and security, and people were like, oh, we're going to learn how to use a blackjack. And I was like, don't use that. That's stupid. And then I give a bunch of reasons. You're better off with a solid-ass baton. Both legally, effectively, liability, just carry an extendable baton. You can get extendable batons that are, for single use, pretty close to an ass baton that is going to be way more effective, and they cost about the same. Garrett says, is that J-frame holster from Harry's ambidextrous? I'm a lefty. They don't have it out yet. I got like the prototype pre-production crazy style, not anywhere near being produced. I asked him about it and he said, I will make you one, and he shipped it to me and I use it. And so far, all the cajoling has still not resulted in him making it a like production item, because there's always something that's more popular for a production item, right? But we're still waiting. I would love to have that holster with the contender with the like fabric click. That would be awesome. But you got to start bothering him. He's in here somewhere. He was watching earlier. Okay, we're just gonna say random things. That's great. Explain what a push knife is. Here's some interesting stuff. Gunnar says, hey Tommy, greetings from IU Bloomington. Hello. There's a company called Life Action Safety that still makes a light-up reflective vest. I may have to look into that. I like those. Hello from Fort Myers, Florida. Hello. I know a few cops who still have nightmares about shootings they had to do a decade or so more ago. It's not pleasant. Not a pleasant experience. I don't know why people think it's fun. I don't know why people ask about it. I don't know why people want to hear about it. I don't know what's so exciting about it to people. It's only fun for people who have never done it before, or who are sociopaths. Blaine says, I've had to shoot people. It was in self-defense. Don't send cops. It was not something I want to do again, but I would do it again. It was in defense of my brother who had been stabbed. It's in anybody that tells you like, oh yeah, I shot a man, it was fun, oh yeah. And like they go on about it, about how great it was. They're nuts. Or they're lying. Adam says, what do your coworkers think of your channel? Some of them are pretty supportive and think it's funny. And some of them are very upset that I make fun of them low-key on here. Especially the note-taking ones seem to piss off a lot of people who just wrote their notes on little cards. Striker one says, what do you think of stun flashlights? I think it's better to have a tool that does the job you want it to do. Two tools that do the jobs you want them to do than one tool that does both of them effectively. That's the nicest thing I have to say about that. Last tool says, most of the SWAT activity I've seen, they're sitting outside a house for hours with every light on. They can get yelling into a house on a loudspeaker. That's a barricade. That's not what I'm talking about. If you have to make an entry to a building, you're not going to leave your light on the whole time inside the dark building. G. Wagner says, just don't take stun flashlights to a Boy Scout camp. Why? That'd be fun at night. Flashlight fanboys need to relax. Just carry something you'll actually use, not the $20,000 bushfire starters. Blaine says, my aunt works in a field office for the FBI in Chicago. They make her carry it, which is probably smart. Also, I have a huge beard. He means off duty. A lot of the federal agents, everyone that I've met has been like, they make us carry this thing all the time. All the time. And it's a pain in the butt for them. Harry's holster says there are two J-frame holsters in existence. I have one and he has the other. It still needs some refinement in the fit. I feel blessed. I really like it. I think you could make it a standard production item, but he's persnickety about things looking perfect. Have you had to shoot someone before? We're not going to get into that. Trust me, it's not pleasant. Have you ever made a video in response to something that happened at work to, in your words, low-key, have fun, and also to educate? Yeah, that's like how most of this stuff comes up. Is I'll be training somebody or I'll be at work and something will happen. I'll be like, we need to talk about this to about 40,000 people. It'd probably be good for 40,000 people to hear this. Because it's some stuff happens and I'm like, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again and get ahead of it for other people. Right? Like, maybe it's better not to search every abandoned building. Remember the abandoned buildings when it's like, you could fall through the floor. What are we really going to do if we find the people that are inside this building? Is it illegal for them to even be in? Like, is someone's going to sign the complaint? We're going to charge them with something for being in a building that's abandoned that no one owns anymore? You know? And then, make a video about it. Wrestling Soup says, kind of generic, but I'm interested. What's the most major change as a police officer from 10 or 20 years ago today? I can only talk from about 11 years ago. And the biggest change has been law update changes, right? In Illinois, 10 years ago, there was no concealed carry. The only two people that carried guns were cops and criminals. And you were, by default, a criminal if you were carrying a loaded gun around. The motor vehicle laws have changed. The ability to prosecute people has changed substantially. What is a crime that is actually prosecuted? Here, they keep raising the threshold for what is a retail theft that they'll prosecute or what a retail theft is that's a felony. So it's a lot harder to get charges on people now than it was 10 years ago when they do something. 10 years ago, somebody stole, 2 packs of gum and got caught, you could charge them with it if you wanted to. If you got there and they were acting like a lunatic in the store and they stole 2 packs of gum, you could charge them. Now, they'll get laughed out of court. So that's the most major change. Harry says, the revolver holsters are really hard to fit right. I'm at revision 15 and still don't have it right. Some autos take 2 to 5 revisions normally. Well, there you go. Stun guns. Blaine says stun guns are illegal where I'm at. What about stun canes? Funny story. My buddy once shocked himself with one walking in a puddle. Yeah. Wastool says search incident to arrest in a motor vehicle. That changed. That changed in a big way, but there's still ways around it. Like you do inventory search of the vehicle, but you don't get the whole vehicle the same way that we did before the Gantt decision. So that's changed. Lots of things have changed. The law changes constantly. Stuff that I talk about now could change by tomorrow. It could have already changed. I just haven't heard about the decision yet. Eric Ray says, hello from your car trunk. Please let me out. Thanks for the videos. This is a minivan. I don't know whose car's trunk you're in, but I'm not going to be able to get you out of there because I'm in a minivan. And Jose Gonzalez says, are you back in days? Are you back on days? No, I'm not. I'm on vacation. Vacation is the best. I'm actually in between two places that I'm going. So, Young Shooter says, should felons with expunged records be applied to be able to apply in law enforcement? Anybody can apply. Are you going to pass the background check? No, you're not going to. And felon can mean very different things. There is such a large scope of what a felon is that it's kind of gotten off the deep end. Right? Like, you can have a felon who stole from, Walgreens when he was 19 and is now 30, and he had it expunged. That's going to look very different from somebody that ran someone over with their car when they were drunk and killed them when they were already suspended for DUI. And that's going to look very different from somebody that shoots somebody and gets charged with, second-degree murder or manslaughter or something. I mean, there's such a large scope of them. It goes back to, like, how much time have you put between you and it? How much legal resources have you put between you and it? And what was it originally? Could you do a video on proper taser usage? If you have a taser, you should be getting training from it from Taser. But I can do some more stuff on tasers if that's interesting to you. Seth Milligan says, what is the hardest part of FTO phases? I think the hardest part of field training, I know for me, when I was doing it, was the stress. It was having someone next to you. Like, you're doing this stressful thing to start with. Law enforcement work can be very stressful at times, and you're trying to do it while you're being graded on it from a person that's sitting right next to you. Right? So, like, that type of, like, people complain about my boss micromanages me, like, people quit jobs because you're being micromanaged. All the field training process is like being micromanaged. Like, they're right on top of you. I try to give guys as much leeway as they can. Like, I step away, like, they write reports, and they write the report, and I go downstairs and work out. And, like, when you're done, you print it out and come bring me a copy of it. And I'm just going to let you be for a minute while you're doing it. But that's really stressful. Elzamizier says, so I do hospital security. Our department doesn't believe in tasers. They use the excuse we are around oxygen. So why do you think they're so resistant toward tasers? Because tasers come with liability. That's the reality of it. There's liability there, so they have to balance. Is there more liability in people getting hurt from you not having the taser, or more liability from you tasing someone and then falling in their head? I've seen people get tased, and they fall, like, lock up like a board. Like, you get a good strike with a taser, lock up like a board, fall over, crack their head, and knock themselves unconscious. In fact, anytime you hear someone talk about they tased someone and the person fell to the ground and the taser just knocked them clean out, it wasn't the taser, it was the floor. It was them hitting the floor and they knocked themselves out. You can double tase and triple tase people, and that's not going to knock them out. It's hitting the floor. And so there's liability there. Bullet 31 says, I live next to a school. If an active shooter situation arises, what is your advice to me as a civilian gun owner willing to put my life on the line to try to save kids? Dude, if you don't know what you're going to do and you don't know how to do it, then I wouldn't go do it. As big boy rules, I can't give you advice on that. Hi from LaPorte County. Hello. What was your biggest drug bust? I have no idea. I don't do narcotic stuff very much anymore. It's been a long time ago. Big Dog Photographer says, what gun did you start off with? I started off with a Glock 22. Jose Gomez says, still waiting on a free field training and Officer 401 collab. I'm not big like him. He's got like 500,000 subscribers. He's doing his own thing. Unshelled Pilot says, would you say the changes in your law procedure have made your job easier or harder in your career? It depends. It depends on what you're talking about. Some things are easier, some things are harder. That's life. Juliet Whiskey Nighter says, off topic, have you ever worked executive protection as a cop/security? Yeah, it's really not that great. It's not that exciting. People make, I work executive protection. You walk around with someone and you hope nothing happens a lot. That's working executive protection. Or you go in advance and see what's going on, and you brief other people on what the place looks like when you're going. less executive protect, like bodyguarding is not, it sounds like a much cooler job than it is. It's like being a private detective. It sounds a lot cooler than it really is. Lost Tool says there's different ways to run an FTO program. Yeah, there's several. Some of them are actually sanctioned and like there's classes on them. Other ones are just like, we decided we're going to do it this way. Have you heard of pepper gel? Yes. Aaron Hudson says, in regards to record, I got a bogus trespass warning. Will that affect my chance of being a cop? Trespass warnings aren't a thing here. That's like a private thing between you and a company. So I have no idea about your area. I can't imagine it. Adam says, have you ever seen someone do a full scorpion? I have no idea what a full scorpion is. Wrestling Soup says, have you ever used or thoughts on sound cannons as police weapons? I've never used one, so I have no idea. K-Man says, can past injuries, as in broken bones or ACL, tear prevent a department from hiring you? Yeah, they can if you don't pass the physical. Surefire X300V all the way. Okay. How long should you wait to become a police officer after a first offense DUI? I don't know. Probably want to get that off your record first. Which would mean you're going to talk to an attorney and you should ask the attorney. And Blaine says, unless you're Ryan Reynolds, being executive protection agent is going to get boring. I hope at least some people got what I'm talking about. Can you do more videos on security? You got to tell me stuff you want to see, dude. Like, there's only so much I can come up with on my own. I know I missed some because it scrolled on me. That's going to be it. LOL at full scorpion. I'll have to Google that later. I have no idea what a full scorpion is. Sorry. I'm not cool like that. Lost Tool says 2 years minimum for a DUI in Ohio, and you probably won't get hired. There you go. There's somebody from one state. Adam says a scorpion fall is when someone lands on their face and their back bends in a scorpion-like manner. I haven't seen that. So yeah, let's see. Before I go, the flashlights that were coming up we talked about, I got Bravo concealments and some holsters. This is their torsion holster. I guess they're doing some promotions right now for Christmas, where like you buy a torsion holster, one of their outside waistband holsters, and you get a free mag carrier or something like that. They sent me an outside the waistband and a torsion holster, so I'm going to be doing those in the upcoming weeks. It's a Kydex holster, so it works. Kydex holsters work. They're not as adjustable as like Harry's is, but they are cheaper. So there's that. And what else is coming up? That's all I can think about. All right, so until about 2 hours from now when I release a video, you guys be safe and take care of each other. Later.